this episode, we're interviewing my friend Brandon, who runs his own drone company, and we're going to basically go into his life experiences and see what advice he has for any of you that wants to start your own company and what you need to know being an entrepreneur. And I think he's a great person to get some insight into because, you know, he didn't have it easy, but he persevered and he kept pushing to be able to achieve what he has. And that's why he's able to get the cars and the life that he has. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode and I hope you find it inspiring. What's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing today?
All right. You ready for all the questions we're about to ask you?
Let's go. Let's get it done.
First question, man. I got to ask you, like, what made you decide to become an entrepreneur?
I've worked for a lot of different companies, big companies, small companies, family-owned companies, my own family's owned companies, first 25 years of my life. So after working for big companies and small companies alike, successful companies, unsuccessful companies, I knew one thing, and I was tired of making other people money. The one thing that you always are going to know is that when you're working for somebody else, you're working for their bottom line. People protect their bottom line by making sure they pay everybody as little as they can. I mean, you pay good people good money, but in order to make money, you got to save it somewhere, and that's paying people little. And if you're working for somebody else, they're never going to have your best interest in heart, and I didn't want to do that anymore.
All right, so I got a real question for you now. Like, how old were you when you started your company, when you decided to I want to launch my own company?
I mean, it was after I turned 30.
Okay.
I wish I would have done it earlier. I had ideas to do it when I was like 25, or to start a different company when I was 25. Actually, the company that I wanted to start when I was 25 was with a buddy of mine in Tampa. We wanted to do an exotic car rental company.
Oh, nice.
You know, we wanted to be the next Gotham Cars and stuff like that, but it was one of those things where you needed a couple million in assets to get started, and then you'd be competing with big companies out of Miami and Orlando, and we did not have the capital to do that. So it was just kind of like a dream, and things went, and I was working for a pharmaceutical company doing customer support and management, and that was making good money, so we just kind of kept doing our thing. And then eventually I moved back to this side of the state, and some things happened, and it was after I turned 30, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something, and that's when I started my current company.
So what would you say were some of the obstacles you had to overcome to become successful?
I think with starting any business, the obstacles are just figuring out all the legal loopholes, all the legal jargon and crap, and getting things set up. And you're always wondering, did I do everything? Do I have everything down? Do I have all my sales certificates, my tax certificates, and all that stuff? That was a little bit of an obstacle. But to be successful, it's finding your niche. You know, finding where you belong. I mean, again, we're a drone company, we're a data collection company, but we really are. So we work in a variety of industries, collecting a variety of data sets. But people look at us and they think, oh, we're just doing drone real estate pictures. You know, that's what everybody buys a drone, they go do. They don't realize our drones cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're collecting LiDAR data to build cities with. You know.
Wow.
Or we're working with power.
That must be really fulfilling.
It is really cool. You know, we just did a job on the other side of Florida that's going to be used to help, condition draining for stormwater and stuff like that. It's going to make that whole town better in storms, and we do that with collecting aerial data and providing it to the civil services there at the cities. So I mean, it is really cool to do all that stuff and to see that actually create something more. But the difficulty again is finding that niche. You could go out there and pick up a drone today for $1,200 and go fight with every other 16-year-old that's out there taking photos of real estate, and you're not going to really get anywhere. You might make some money, and there are some really successful people, especially if you're talented in that kind of work, but ultimately it's finding...
You found your niche.
Yeah, finding that niche and running with it, and specifically like studying it, learning it, becoming proficient at it, becoming the best at it.
All right, so my next question for you is, what habits can you say got you to where you are now? Like, what business habits or business practices that has gotten you to this point that you could recommend other people do to get to where they want to go?
Research it. What do you need? What is your actual market? What can you possibly charge? What are your earnings going to look like? And how long can you survive before those earnings start coming in? Because a lot of people might start a business thinking, I'm going to earn money right from the day one. It could be 5 months to a year before you actually start seeing profits.
Yeah.
You might not be able to pay yourself right off the beginning. You've got to be able to survive. How long can you hold out? Plan that, figure that out, but definitely start your business. Even if it's just legitimizing it in the eyes of the government and the state, pay the couple $100, get your name registered, get your company out there, start that process, get it going. And every day move forward another direction. But do not cheat yourself on the research. Make sure you're looking out for yourself and finding out what it is you're going to sell, whether it's a service or a product, and how much you can expect to earn on that service or product, because that's going to be whether you make it or break it. Is based on those numbers, and you have to be realistic with yourself.
So I'm going to ask you one last question. Are you ready?
Sure. What we got?
How important is it for our viewers to understand about not giving up?
Obviously, the most important thing. You only fail when you stop trying. I don't know who said it or what the actual quote is, but you haven't failed until you've given up. So keep at it. Always keep at it. And if you think you failed, you haven't until you stop. So keep going. Simple as that, right?
I hear that, man. All right. I lied. I ask you one more question.
All right.
All right. Other than not giving up, like, what about when you have like bad days? Like, what do you recommend people do, like, when they feel like giving up? What should they do to get themselves back up?
Forget that day. Go do something fun. I mean, bad days happen. They happen all the time. I mean, every week I have a bad day that I think, why don't I just burn it all down and move on to something else? But that's natural. You're always going to have that feeling. Let that day go. I mean, go clear your head. Come back to it fresh tomorrow, the next day. Shit, sometimes you've worked so hard you need to take a vacation. Go do something. But always come back to it, because just like when you're mad about anything in your life or something's going wrong, everybody's got a personal example of this. Things have all fallen apart, and then the next day, maybe the next week, at some point, that no longer matters, right? I mean, you have to have that personal example. We all do. That's so true about starting your own business and running your own business. There's gonna be bad days, but there's better days ahead. So just keep going. Don't stop forging forward.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
All right.